here, recording for Wednesday's 8-game main slate, kicking off at 7:05. We are here on the Better Sports Network and Fantasy Alarm social channels. James, my man, Wednesday. We're currently recording here on Tuesday with a little bit of magic going on here. We have dueling perfect game no hitters by the Miller brothers. Not really brothers here, but Mason Miller, currently 5 2/3 no hit. Bryce Miller, 5 perfect innings here, 8 strikeouts. James, you and I obviously discussed the 4K price tag on Bryce Miller earlier today when we were recording and on the live stream on Tuesday. We put him in our lineups. We did not expect 5 perfect innings. I don't. That's a little gift to us here.
Yeah, that is definitely a gift. And the pitch count in very good shape, by the way, for Bryce Miller. So
yeah, the A's are out there, first pitch swinging for our guy here. 62 pitches through 5 innings. Mason Miller, little less luck there, 83 so far. 5 2/3 through for him. So he may be going deep into the hundreds if they let him go that far. But Miller is cruising right now. Bryce Miller cruising right now. We'll see. We'll continue to follow along and update everybody while we're recording this podcast here. You'll get our live reactions when it ends. If he gets it, hopefully, we can experience some of that good stuff there in baseball. Perfect game in your debut has never been done. So a little baseball history potentially in the making here tonight. James, we have 8 games as we discussed here. Coors Field still on the slate for this one as well. Milwaukee, Colorado. Looking at the pitching here, again, a good mix of top tier guys and middle of the rotation. Feels like Kyle Freeland pitches every other day for Colorado, but you and I obviously we do this podcast and live stream and playbook like every day, so we just run across Kyle Freeland frequently. He is on the slate for Colorado. Eric Lauer's pitching for Milwaukee, so that'll be another game where we look to target here today.
Yeah, and we could just hop into Vegas. Eric Lauer is favorited against Kyle Freeland in the Colorado Rockies on the road, -120 over on DraftKings Sportsbook. Logan Gilbert is the biggest favorite on the board, -170. Alek Manoah, -145 against the Red Sox. That's an interesting matchup. Shane Bieber, -140 on the road. Bieber hasn't been great, but that number,
Yankees.
yeah, I could see that number rising by the time we get closer to lock when we come back live at 5:00 Eastern Standard. So, Logan Gilbert being -180 is the biggest favorite is a little interesting. When we look at over under, it was 11 in the Rockies in Coors Field on Tuesday. That vastly disappointed. 5 total runs so far as that game comes to a close. Opens at 11.5 between Lauer and Freeland. That is clearly the slate high number. KC and Baltimore, Kyle Gibson versus Zach Greinke is at 9. That could be interesting. Alek Manoah, a guy who's been struggling to find his footing with the pitch clock, faces a Boston Red Sox lineup that's been on fire. DraftKings Sportsbook, this line opened at 9, already been bet up to 9.5. I see, some sportsbooks have it at 9, some have it at 9.5. So interesting there. Those are the best game totals we have available to us.
All right, let's jump into it here. Pitching at the top, we got Ohtani versus St. Louis. Dylan Cease at home against Minnesota. Shane Bieber against the Yankees. Stroman against Washington here. As your 9K and above tier. I key in on Bieber. We've just been talking about it. The way the Yankees lineup is right now, just pitch everybody against them.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter, right? We've seen pitchers of various levels of what we consider to be talent all just have success. BB today was the same way. Quantrill before that. Bieber now, there's just nobody in that lineup. And who's to say on a Wednesday that maybe the Yankees even rest somebody else, right? Like if they can even afford to do it. So sure, it's great that Ohtani's on the mound. I'm not paying 11.4 for him. I'd rather just pay 9,500 for Bieber here.
Yeah. Look, I have obviously no problem getting to Ohtani. The last start was the first disappointing one he's made. I mean, excluding the game that he left because of rain, but there was rain in the forecast that day.
Yeah.
Cease, coming off his obviously worst start, you can go back to the well. I think he'll be a little contrarian, wedged in between Ohtani and Bieber, but I do think Bieber is the play. I mentioned he had been struggling, and I say that lightly. Like, he's been good. He just hasn't been as dominant in the strikeout department. Just one game with more than 4 strikeouts. I think that's a little surprising that he's not missing bats.
Yeah.
But he's keeping the ball on the ground a whole lot. Like, everything is on the ground. No more than 5 fly ball outs in any game this year. Coming off, 7 innings his last time out.
Good pitch counts, deep into
Yeah,
games here. You faced the Yankees already, 7 innings, 2 earned, 4 strikeouts, and that was like a healthy Yankees lineup,
right.
right?
A different team
Different
for
team
sure.
here. So yeah, for me, that this is just the pick on spot. We're just, for me, it's Beaver.
I would rank them. I would still probably. I still think the other two guys might have more upside, just given where Bieber's been strikeout potential
Sure.
this year versus the other two.
Well,
I
Cease
still
hasn't been all that great strikeouts, but that's mostly because he's not pitching deep enough into games.
That's yes. He opened the season, right on
Right.
par with what he was last year, and then it's kind of fallen off. But I would probably still rank Otani first, but obviously saving $2,000 getting
Oh,
Bieber.
that's where it's for me. Like, I think you're right. Otani probably the better pitcher for sure, but I mean, $2,000 in that matchup, like
Sure.
that just kind of takes it. Kirby, I don't generally, look to fade, anyways, and now he's getting a spot against Oakland. So, I mean, again, Yankees, Oakland, they're basically the same team at this point. So, why not? I worry about his strikeouts sometimes too, but he's coming off 7, and it's Oakland, so there's a strikeout bump to that matchup. So, like, starting a lot of lineups here again with a Bieber, Stroman, maybe in Kirby, like that feels pretty strong.
Yeah. So I definitely like Stroman. I like Kirby a whole lot, and I think we're gonna see George Kirby. I don't know if he's gonna be the most popular pitcher, but I think it's gonna be. If he's not, he's second. Like, he is going to be the highest owned pitcher or the second highest owned pitcher
Yeah.
on DraftKings at 8,500. So I love Kirby. I think Stroman's a nice pivot off of Kirby because he's more expensive, but he has as good of a matchup as George Kirby does. People just probably are like, "Well, I could save $600 and get to Kirby." Well, sometimes that's not always the correct.
Right.
Just saving the money isn't always the correct decision. So I think Kirby is 1A of those two guys, but I do think Stroman is quite interesting as a pivot.
Yep, I agree with you there. I don't know what to do with Alec Manoah. The Red Sox
Dude,
lineup just feels like it's too tough to go against right now. Manoah had that great.
John, it's
I,
ended.
I saw
Perfect.
Tony Kemp,
Tony
ladies and
Kemp.
gentlemen, with a single ground ball up the middle. Uh,
Hats off, though. Hats
yeah,
off
yeah.
to
Great start. 5 1/3, 1 hit allowed, 9 strikeouts so far. Only 70 pitches. I mean, I don't think they're going to pull him anytime soon still, but
still have a no hitter on the other side of the game, by the way.
right? Like Miller at 87 pitches here. Mason Miller at 87 pitches with a 6-inning no hitter. So MLB.com just flipping the tag from the game to the no hitter. So, anyways, back to this Manoah spot here. We worried about the walks. He walked 4 against Seattle. It's kind of labored through that game there. I know you mentioned he's a pretty big favorite. I'm not going there with him. Even at $7,200, it's probably a no-go for me.
Yeah, there's rumor circulating that he's having trouble adapting to the pitch clock. So,
Could
I
certainly be
think,
it.
yeah, I think that's it. It's a really tough spot. Look, we've said it for 4 straight starts. He's better than a 7K pitcher. So if you want to go there, you can. The way Boston's hitting right now, it's really scary.
Yeah.
So
they're gonna throw 8 lefties at him tomorrow.
yeah,
So.
I mean, it's gonna be tough. It's just like, we know the talent doesn't match the price, and sometimes I'm okay with taking a shot on talent. But I don't know if that's the case with the way that with Boston's bats.
What are your thoughts here on Louis Varland? First start of the season against the Yankees, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, all of them off home runs, had 8 strikeouts. Now he's running up against the White Sox lineup here today.
Yeah, I mean, the better part, like, more so than Varland, I like the fact that he's facing the White Sox, who, even with Anderson, still looked bad. Other than Eloy Jimenez home run, they just really couldn't get anything going. He does have a lot of strikeouts in the minor leagues. Varland's a guy who struck out people at every level. 25 strikeouts and 15 AAA innings this year. He had 109, or let's see, between two stops last year, AA, AAA, 146 strikeouts and 126 innings. So, yeah, I mean, he's a guy who can strike a bunch of people out. Where does Chicago rank in terms of strikeouts against righties? They rank 18th, so they don't really strike out a lot, but 667 team OPS against right-handed pitching. So, yeah, I can get to Varland. I think he's an interesting value. One that we need to get to? I don't know, but an interesting one that nonetheless.
Yep, no, I would agree with you there as well. I'm just see if there's any like recent data that would point to it, but their strikeouts are largely the same. Last 14 days, they rank 16th. The last week, they are 13th. So really just hanging around there. But to your point, like no power, no average against them. They're just kind of floating around there. So just kind of to recap here, I like Bieber, Stroman, Kirby, and Varland as the 4 pitchers for me, building out lineups today. We're not saying you can't get to an Ohtani or a Cease, but just based off the matchups here, it's where I'm looking to go.
Agreed.
Over at the catcher spot here, it doesn't seem like we'll have a Connor Wong, but maybe they'll throw him back out there. I mean, he largely plays against lefties, and then they have Reese McGuire against the righties, but Connor Wong did double dong today. He's got 3 homers in 2 days. So if Connor Wong is starting, I will play him again at $2,300. Perfectly okay with that decision there. But as we move back up the road, top price guys here, who's on your radar? We do have Elias Diaz in Coors against a lefty and Lauer. We got William Contreras in Coors against a lefty and Freeland. So some good split matchups for us there.
Yeah, I'm okay getting to any of the top 3 guys: Rutschman, Contreras, Elias Diaz, and William specifically. Not going to test the Wilson Contreras waters. I would, depending on why Salvi. So he left with a middle finger contusion. John hit on a backswing in the 8th inning.
Ouch.
Listed day to day, so we'll see if he's in the lineup. Kyle Gibson's been mediocre.
Yeah, last start not good for Kyle Gibson. Okay before that, but nothing special there.
So I like the top 3 guys. If Salvi's in the lineup, I'm okay with it. Melendez homered on Tuesday. I'd be okay getting to him as well.
Mm-hmm. If Carantini's playing again against lefty, we'll probably be okay with that.
Yeah, he's been great.
Anybody else a catcher for you?
I mean, I don't think much of Nick Pivetta. So
sure. You mentioned lefties, and you were dead right about that the other day. Lefties were the ones doing the damage for Cleveland against Pivetta.
Yeah,
but we always talk about Toronto doesn't have many lefties.
I know it's Varsho who homered.
Yep. Kevin Biggio.
Kevin Biggio and Brandon Belt.
Brandon Belt got to be DFA'd soon because
probably
he is not even playing first for them. He's just a zero value. So.
Kevin Biggio BVP, John. Just throwing it out there.
Is it good?
It's not bad.
What do we got?
5 for 14 with 2 bombs.
He's fine. He's getting in the lineup tomorrow.
Nick Pivetta. They actually have, like, Springer has really good numbers against them. Bo Bichette has, like, monstrous numbers against Pivetta. It is lefty power, but righties have caught up a little bit. 339 Woba, 780 OPS against them. So I'm not a Nick Pivetta fan. The last 3 starts, outside of like the strikeouts against Milwaukee, he's been a little bad.
Sure.
So I would get to either Toronto catcher, whoever's.
Okay. Move on over to the first base position then here. Vladdy obviously at the very top. Crone versus lefty. If you believe he eventually comes around, then it's there for you. Mountcastle just had another monster day here today. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, or at least the last I checked. Maybe he's added on since then. He had a double. Gets Greinke, so it's not the lefty righty matchup that we like for Mountcastle, but Greinke we know is not hasn't been very good here. Anybody else in this upper tier that you're sort of keying in on?
Yeah, righties crushing Greinke, lefties crushing Greinke. So whoever you want to use against them, by all means. So like I'm good with Vladdy. I'm good with Crone. I'd be tempted to use Rowdy because I believe Freeland stinks against lefties too, right? No, actually, wow, he's been really good against lefties this year. Mm, Probably a hard pass. I take back my initial interest in Rowdy. Mountcastle, you mentioned. Oof. Probably not. Lefties against Clark Schmidt. So I know I get it. I know I keep
Well, we
mentioning the
tried that last
Guardians.
time against the Rangers, and it didn't work out.
It
So
didn't work out. It didn't work out. The numbers still suggest that like Clark Schmidt is a bad pitcher against left-handers. I'm trying to get them.
I mean, listen, he's in Yankee Stadium, so to be bad against lefties in Yankee Stadium is not a good idea for you to be. So if you, I mean,
1200 OPS, 526 WOBA against.
and you know what? Naylor's starting to heat up. 324, 833 OPS, 500 slug the last 10 games for Naylor. So, maybe. I mean, Josh Bell only a 235 average, but 852 OPS,
Right.
471 slug. Sucks that they're both only first base eligible, but listen, if there's a spot, it's that. So,
okay. I'd be in for both.
Pasquantino 3,800 against Gibson.
Yeah, I think that's actually kind of interesting. The Royals, we gave like a little rub to the Royals on Tuesday's show, and like they had a big game. They are better than what they're showing. Lefties against.
I've been saying that for a bit, but it's after you get past like that 4 spot.
It is. It really is. So lefties against Kyle Gibson this year, John. 328 average, 970 OPS, 419 WOBA. So maybe we're not stacking Royals, but Melendez and Pasquantino mini stack could be interesting.
Yep. I think it's possible. Let's see here. Anybody else for you?
Brendan Bell.
I'm assuming you're kidding.
I am. I sure.
Eric Hosmer is $2,200.
Yeah, if he corrects the lineup.
All right. Second base. Nico Horner is 5,300, man. I don't know about that one.
Price is only going up.
I don't know about that one. I mean, Jimenez is going to hit lefty 4,500 against Schmidt. Hasn't been playing well, to say the least, but it's a matchup.
It is a matchup. And if he gets on, he's a stolen base threat.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he's pressing a little bit because all that money.
Ramon Urias, so every time he faces a lefty, I'm like, oh, it's a good spot. And then I check his splits and like he's not good against righties. I mean, good against lefties. He's facing Greinke a righty here. So maybe Ramon Urias here. Better splits for him against righties this year against Greinke.
Yep.
Owen Miller probably gets in a lineup against Freeland here at 3K.
At that point, John, Ramon Urias, 325 average, 399 WOBA against righties.
Yeah, no, I always confuse him with Luis Urias when it comes to the lefties, and I'm like, I'm always stuck. I'm like, oh no, he doesn't hit him left. He doesn't hit lefties well. Yeah, Ramon 3,200 against him is pretty decent. Valdez probably gets back in the lineup. Emmanuel Valdez, $2,400.
Yep.
Hits now in 4 straight games, 3 doubles and a homer the last 4 games.
Kid's just hitting, dude, and a little stolen base to throw.
Yeah, dude, he's an offensive first player. He doesn't terrible defensive player. So if you like Boston here, that offense is starting to click a little bit. We talked about it. They're WRAA. They were number 1 in baseball. So over the last 2 weeks. So it's like weighted runs average, so they're right there. That's it for me though.
Same.
Kevin Biggio took $2,300. Third base. Devers, $5,900.
So funny.
Chapman, Ramirez, all up there as your top 3 guys.
Yeah,
probably in on all of them.
In on all of them, I'd probably rank them. I'd probably just swap Ramirez and Chapman and rank them that way.
Does Alec Manoah split versus lefties this year?
I was just looking. Pretty bad. 800 OPS, 358 WOBA allowed. Okay. So good numbers for Devers to attack. So I think I would rank them, just flip Chapman and Ramirez, and that's how I'd rank them.
Yeah, Capron from excuse me. excuse me, Manoah this year. 8K per nine, lowest it's been so far in his 3 years. 5.7 walks per nine, almost double his previous total there.
Brutal.
Yeah, pretty gross stuff there. So 5.88 FIP, 5.69 xFIP. He's just not pitching well. So Red Sox could be definitely a spot. Brian Anderson, I know we mentioned today he's actually hitting righties better than lefties, but still middle lineup there, $4,200 for him. Gunnar Henderson at some point got to wake up, right? At some point, maybe at some point.
It's a really good spot. He continues to get on base. That's the only saving grace right now. He's getting on base a lot.
Eugenio Suarez still smashes lefties. He's the only one really. $3,700 for him. Brousseau, does he lead off for Milwaukee here?
Probably. That's gonna be a tricky spot because he's gonna be 3,500 leading off or hitting in a prime spot.
And then he's gonna get pitch hit for 2 at bats.
And then if he doesn't do damage in his first 2 at bats, does he see the light of day after? It's a tricky spot to be in if you're using Mike Brousseau.
I don't see anybody else down here that I would go with.
No,
Edwin Rios. Right?
If he doesn't get pinch hit for
pinch hit with a bases loaded. So sad.
It's very sad.
It's so sad. All right, shortstop position here. Doesn't he got pinch hit for another lefty too? Like it didn't even make it just didn't even make sense. It just didn't even make sense. Adames 61, Bichette 6K, Witt homered tonight, 5K for him against Gibson. Mateo's up to $4,900 against Greinke. I mean,
still too cheap. Still too cheap.
Dude, a 50-mile-an-hour ephus from Greinke. How many stolen bases on that one pitch did Mateo get? 2?
One on the one pitch. Might just score from first on one pitch.
I mean, jeez.
He's crushing righties too. He has a I was just looking at it. I wanted to give him his flowers when we got here. Now I can't find it. 333 average, 437 WOBA against right-handed pitching this year. Greinke getting crushed by lefties. 321 average, 920 OPS, 390 WOBA. Crushed.
That is.
Jorge Mateo is. Oh, Jorge Mateo is not a switch hitter. I forgot.
No, he's not. But again, we're looking at the stolen base thing. To the Bichette point as well, another guy with great BVP versus Pivetta. 417 average, 2 homers, 750 slug, 1230 OPS, and 24 ABs. So,
Blue Jays are going to be. I think the Blue Jays are going to be pretty popular. That's going to be a pretty popular pivot off of course.
Yeah. Moving along here, just a quick update on that Seattle-Oakland game. Mason Miller still no hitter through 7 innings now. 100 pitches though. So if you're Oakland, do you let your young pitcher who barely threw any like minor league innings this year? It was a quick call up. We kind of were wondering what the heck was going on here. 100 pitches through 7 no hit innings. We'll see if they pull the plug. Bryce Miller gave up a run last inning, doubled to Estory Ruiz. 2 hits and earned 10 strikeouts through 6. He's only had 81 pitches, so I would imagine they'll keep sending him out there.
Yeah, we'll see. I think you got to take Mason Miller out.
Yeah, probably at 100 pitches. All right, shortstops down below. Who's on your radar for value?
Nobody. Zach Nato. Yeah, it's
does he hit 9th? Does he hit 9th now that a righty is pitching today, or does he go back? Does he just hit leadoff?
He's been hitting leadoff the last couple of days. I think it's more Taylor Ward centric than it is because Taylor Ward until Tuesday homered had been doing nothing.
Sure,
and being a 0 for them at the top of the lineup.
Okay. Let's go on over then to the outfield spot. A lot of options here. Sid Mole, 6K. Very expensive. Very expensive. Springer, part of the Toronto crew.
Yep. Has really good numbers against Pivetta.
Yoshida hit his 5th home run tonight. Guys really starting to get locked in. Verdugo, 47 with the walk-off the day before. I mean, it's lining up to play those 3 outfielders right there, right? Yoshida, Verdugo, Varsho.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of Boston. I feel like this is gonna be this game. This is your pivot off of Coors. Yeah, I mean you could probably afford Boston with Coors, truthfully, because Boston's pretty cheap compared to I mean, Yoshida Verdugo not, but we're gonna get Jalen Duran, who's still cheap, and
Yeah. Bryce Miller, by the way, officially removed from the game after 81
wow,
pitches. So,
debut 81 pitches. That's kind of surprising. I'm
yep.
not gonna lie, that's kind of surprising, and that makes, I mean, guarantee Mason Miller's out of the game.
You would think so. I don't know what Oakland at 6-23. Maybe they're just looking to get the fans excited. I'll go back to the lefties for Chicago again. Happ and Bellinger.
Same.
I won't, shy too far away from that. Teoscar versus lefty. I know he hasn't been great, but maybe eventually Seattle starts coming around.
Yeah, Teoscar, the strikeouts are just very concerning. I would say that would be the one thing. I mean, 38 strikeouts. And look at the 15 strikeouts is last thing. Like, the strikeouts are crazy lately.
Randall Grichuk, by the way, came back, played 3 games, 2 hits in all 3. What do we got?
Yep.
Now he's got a lefty matchup. This is kind of what he's known for doing. $3,900 for Grichuk against Lauer. I do like that. Profile against a lefty and a lead off for Colorado. So,
yep.
I know we've talked poorly about the Colorado offense in previous podcasts there, James. But this is a spot where maybe the numbers line up a little bit to play some Rockies against an Eric Lauer, who we've talked a lot about, like generally worse on the road. I know the numbers have flipped this year, but he's in course here. So
yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like, he's in course. So I'm perfectly listen. The Grishik, insert Grishik. The lineup is getting a little deeper, little better here.
Yep, I agree. Jaron Duran is not hitting like a $3,500 player, so
no, he's hitting like a $6K player.
Yeah, he's been unreal. Stolen base upside, $3,500. The works for him.
I would play Eloy.
I was gonna say Eloy homered tonight. I mean, hits now in 5 straight. He had a 4-hit game.
And what did you say? When you profiled Varland? He gave up 3 home runs.
Yeah, 3 home runs
in his first start. Like, what does Eloy do? He hits home runs. Like,
let's see. Is there any other real value here? Obviously, we don't know starting lineups yet, so a little tough to know who's going to be in and out. But I don't see anything obvious. Tyrone Taylor, 2,400 against Freeland.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine, right?
If he's in the lineup, that's fine.
I would think he would be, but we'll see. Because I don't think they're going to play Winker against a lefty.
Nick Prado, if you want to play a lefty, yeah. I know he didn't do much. He walked and got hit by a pitch, but another lefty there.
Couple minutes left here. Let's build the lineup.
Kirby
Bieber, love it. Catcher.
Are we playing Coors?
Can we afford Core 4K play?
We could play Grishik. We could play Grishik, 3,900. Okay. I felt pretty good about Grishik.
Yeah, I like Grishik 39. I mean,
the rest of them are
some value because we like Blue Jays Boston a lot. So
well, we could play Emmanuel Valdez if you want to play some Boston value.
Yeah,
or Jaron Duran, like one of those two, or both. Like,
that's fine. We can do. Let's do both. Pick an outfielder that you want to play. Are we stacking Boston? Like, do you want to go Yoshida or do you want
let's play Spring? Let's just use people in that game and play Varsho. Yeah, let's play Varsho. 4,700.
Varsho at 47 or Springer at 51.
Varsho, they've both kind of been bad. Lefties have been a little better, so let's go Varsho.
Okay. 4,300.
We haven't picked a catcher, and we haven't picked a catcher yet, too.
Right.
Like,
Kirk is 33.
Who did you like? Who was your spend down?
I mean, I think Connor Wong.
Connor Wong, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's in a play or not. Reese McGuire's 27. They're kind of close in price.
We could just play Connor Wong. Dude, there's no way they take this kid out of the lineup. Right. He had 3 multi-hit games in a row.
Yeah, 3 home runs. All right, so we got 5K for first base, third base, and shortstop here. Third base, you want to go Devers?
Yep.
Okay, Devers. If you do Devers... if we did Devers Bichette, we'd have a $3,300 first baseman. Josh Bell.
I was. What about Mateo at short?
Okay.
Against Greinke.
That's fine. Mateo.
And then first base. What does that get us at first?
44, 42.
At Mountcastle? Oh, we're so close
to
Mountcastle. What if we did?
We can go off Devers.
To Ramirez, and it gets us exactly what we want.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's up to you if you want.
Yeah, that's fine. I like it. All right, so that's what we got here. We got Kirby, Bieber, Wong, Mountcastle, Valdez, Ramirez, Mateo, Grichuk, Durant, and Varsho. I'll be on the playbook here today. James and I will be live at 5 o'clock Eastern. Good luck, everybody.